Today on our 2010 Ford Escape, we're going to be installing Curt's vehicle wiring harness with a 4-pole flat trailer connector using part number C56329. This 4-pole connector is going to provide you with all your necessary trailer lighting, which includes your left turn, your right turn, tail lamps, and brake lamp signals. This harness plugs in line with your existing tail lamp assemblies. The control box receives a fused power supply from the battery, so the lights going to your trailer aren't feeding off of your tail lamp circuits, but they have their own dedicated power circuit. This is great because if you have a fault on your trailer that causes a short or the fuse to open, it won't affect the tail lighting on your vehicle, just the fuse for the control box. Attached is a dust cap to help keep out dirt and debris, and it can also be used to help store it when not in use. You can just wrap it around your safety chain loop there, and it keeps it up out of the way. It's easy to install. Let's show you how to do that now. We'll start our installation here at the rear of the vehicle by removing both passenger and driver's side taillights. Said screws that have to be removed. And then the taillight assembly can be pulled straight rearward. Now we can disconnect both our connectors and set our tail lamp assembly aside. You repeat that on the other side. Now we'll take our new harness, we'll take the end with the yellow and brown wires, and we're going to route it up behind the bumper to our taillight assembly area here. So we'll just go under the bumper there. There's plenty of room to reach your hand in there to just grab it and pull it on up. You can now take your harness connector and plug it into your vehicle's wiring connector. Then you can plug your taillight back in. You can now reinstall your taillight on your driver's side. Your assembly just slides right back in. And we'll reinsert our 2 screws. Now we're underneath the driver's rear bumper where we routed our wire up. Here's our control box. We've got a rag here with some alcohol on it. We're going to clean up the area right here so we can attach our box to it with this double-sided sticky tape provided in the kit. Now we'll take one end of this double-sided tape provided in the kit. We'll attach it to our control box. We'll peel off the other side and stick it to the area that we had just cleaned. You want to make sure that your wires are aiming down when you attach your pad. At least at somewhat of a downward angle. It's okay if it's angled slightly to one side, but this will keep moisture from collecting on the bottom and making its way inside the unit. Now we'll take the ground wire attached to our control box and use the small self-tapping screw provided in the kit to attach it to our body here. We're using a 1/4-inch socket to drill it in. Now we can go ahead and route our green wire over to our passenger side taillight. And while we're at it, we can go ahead and run our 4-pole flat connector towards the center of our hitch. Now that we've got our connector ran over to our passenger side, again, we're going to go under the bumper. Make sure you go over your exhaust there with your wire and pull it up into your passenger side taillight assembly area. Now you can plug one end of your harness into your taillight assembly. Plug the other end of the harness into your vehicle's factory wiring. And you can plug in any connectors you have remaining for your tail lamp there. And now you can reinstall your passenger side tail lamp assembly. We're now going to connect our power wire that we have to run to the front. So we'll take the black wire provided in the kit, strip back some of that wire. Then you have a yellow butt connector in your kit. Here we've upgraded it to a yellow heat shrink butt connector. This will help keep out any moisture and corrosion since this does live outside the vehicle. And we're just going to crimp that on. We'll then take the black wire coming off of our control box, slide it into the other end of that butt connector, and crimp it down. Now we'll take a heat gun to shrink down our butt connector so that way it'll keep out all that moisture and corrosion. Now we'll take the extra wire routed in the kit, and run it up to the front of the vehicle, up to the engine compartment, so we can hook it to our battery positive. When running this wire, you want to make sure you avoid any moving objects, such as your steering or suspension, and any excessively hot objects, such as your exhaust. It's highly recommended to follow your factory wiring whenever possible. I'm going to run this now, and then I'll show you how I ran it. We've routed our wire through our hitch, down the frame rail, above our rear suspension. We just followed right down next to the fuel tank, then followed our brake and fuel lines up to the front, zip tying it along the way to the brackets. We then took a piece of airline tubing, and you could use a coat hanger or something similar, from up top down through the engine compartment down below. This way we can pull our wire back up in the way that we wanted. So we'll attach it to that airline using some electrical tape. We're back up top. We're going to pull our pull wire up, which is going to feed our wire from down below back up here. Just go ahead and pull up all the slack that you have. After you get done pulling it up, it is a good idea to check back underneath to make sure it didn't get caught on anything and that there's not excess hanging below. You can go ahead and zip tie up some of your excess to make it nice and clean in your engine compartment. We've routed our black wire up, following our factory harness up to our battery. Now you could hook it to your battery post here. However, this style is not good to put any connections on there because it can affect how it crimps onto your battery post. So a better option is to come over to your fuse box right next to it and hook it to one of the posts here on the fuse box. This way you won't have any loose connection possibilities. Take the yellow fuse harness provided in the kit, use your snips, cut it in half. We'll then strip back both ends. We'll connect our ring terminal to one end, and we'll connect one of our yellow butt connectors to the other end. And once again, we have upgraded to a heat shrink butt connector since it does live outside the vehicle. Then we can take the black wire that we ran up, we'll cut off any excess that we don't need, strip back the black wire, and we'll connect that to the other end of our butt connector that was attached to our fuse. Now using our heat gun, we'll shrink down our connector. We'll use a 10mm socket to remove the rearmost bolt on our fuse box. Slide on our ring terminal, and then tighten it back down. Now you can insert the fuse provided in your kit into your fuse holder. And now we're ready to test everything out. Plug your 4-pole connector into your trailer or to a test unit such as the one like we have here. You can pick one of these up at etrailer.com. And then we'll check to make sure everything's working properly. So as you can see here, we've got our left turn, right turn, tail lamps, and stop lamps. And with everything working properly, we're ready to hit the road. And that completes our installation of Curt's vehicle wiring harness with a 4-pole flat trailer connector on our 2010 Ford Escape.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.